Hey guys, this is Jeff, and today I'm going to go over how to get the artwork ready for the 8-foot wide straight wall tubular display, also known as the Easy Tube display. So to start out, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drag the template into Photoshop, and before it opens up, it's going to ask me a couple questions. I want to make sure that the crop to is set to media box. And for the resolution right here, you want to make sure that's set at 125 dpi, which is correct for large format printing. And for the color mode, make sure this is set at CMYK. And once you have that in place, go ahead and click OK. So this is actually going to pull open the full size template. This is what you're going to use to actually design. And what I recommend is actually designing literally right on top of the template. So you can start adding in your logos and your designs and everything. You just simply go to File and Place, and you can browse your computer and begin adding everything in. What I would do though is I would keep this template as its own separate layer. So over here on the right hand side, just keep it by itself. And so when you're all done, you can actually just isolate it and delete it all together and just be left with your final artwork so that the template doesn't print out. So now I just want to point out on the template itself, you will see if I zoom in here a little bit, that there's some bleed around the outside, and that's denoted by the darker blue strip or color, and it goes all the way around the perimeter. And that's just an area where once this gets printed out, that's an area where it's going to be cut and stitched and sewn, and so we need to have a little extra room there to be able to stitch it and do everything that's needed to finish it. So what you want to do is you actually want to extend your background all the way into the bleed. Just keep any important information, so your logos, your text, any web addresses, pictures, anything like that out of the bleed and inside this yellow area. This yellow area is the safe zone. So that's an area where you can have your logos or your text or anything important like that. So go ahead and extend your background all the way to the very outer edge, but keep all the important information within this yellow area. So what I want to do now is I want to actually show you an example of some artwork that does fit the template really well, and this will help illustrate how to get it ready. Okay, so here's an example of some artwork that fits the template really well, and I know that because if I go over to the artwork layer and I just right click on it and I go to blending options, I can actually move the opacity down so that it reveals the template right underneath it. So you can see here, here's the template, here's the artwork on top. And then this is helpful because you can actually look at like your logo here and make sure that it's well within the yellow area, even though the background extends all the way to the very outer edge. So once you've done that, you can click out there. And another area that you want to check too is you want to also take a look at the resolution, and you can do that by just pressing Control and plus on a PC or Command and plus on a Mac, and you can actually zoom all the way in until about 1 inch equals 1 inch in real life. So here's 43 inches, here's 44 inches. That's about 1 inch on my screen. And so now I can take the Navigator tool, which you can find by going to Window and then selecting Navigator, but I have it open here, and you can just click and you can just comb all the way around the image so you can see that the logo is nice and crisp, the picture looks good, and once you've inspected everything and it looks good, you can go ahead and zoom back out by pressing Control and minus or Command and minus on a Mac. And at this point, what you want to do is you want to make sure and save a copy of your working layered file. So that is going to be a file that you can revert back to in case you need to make any changes now or in the future. You'll have that file where it's still all layered, and so you want to make sure to keep a copy of that, because at this point what we're going to do is we're going to get it ready to save. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on the template layer here, and I'm just going to drag it into the trash can. And so now we're just left with our final artwork. And what I want to do at this point is I want to flatten it. That's just going to lock everything in place. If I use any type of special fonts or anything like that, then it won't matter because everything is just compressed and locked into place. And that's going to be really helpful for us when we receive artwork. We may not have a particular font that you used, and so by flattening it on your end, it makes sure that we see the same thing that you see. So you can do that by going to Layer and then going to Flatten Image, and that compresses everything together. So now we're just left with saving the final print ready artwork, and you can actually do that just by going to File, click Save As, and you want to make sure to save it as a high quality PDF. That's usually going to be the best file format. It's non-compression, and it's just going to be probably the best results. Just make sure that you select high quality PDF, and that's going to be your print ready artwork that can be used to print off of. So if you have any questions, feel free, let me know, and check the link below for more information. Thanks.